The Book of Nahum is one of the 12 minor prophets in the Bible. It's a short yet powerful book, consisting of just 3 chapters, and its central focus is on the downfall of Nineveh, the capital of the Assyrian Empire. Let's explore its key themes, structure, and message. Introduction. The name Nahum means comfort or consolation. At first glance, it may seem odd for a book of judgment to bear such a name, but it highlights God's comfort to his people through the promise of justice. Nahum prophesied during a time when the Assyrians were a dominant and oppressive force, having destroyed the northern kingdom of Israel and threatened Judah. Chapter 1. God's Justice and Power. The first chapter sets the tone by introducing God as a powerful and just judge. Nahum begins with a poetic declaration of God's character, describing him as both patient and full of wrath. Verses like Nahum 1:3 remind us, "The Lord is slow to anger, but great in power. The Lord will not leave the guilty unpunished." This is a key theme of the book, God's justice. Here, Nahum emphasizes that God is sovereign over creation. The mountains quake, the rivers dry up, and the earth trembles at his presence. God is not only the God of Israel, he rules over all nations, including Assyria. Chapter 2. The Fall of Nineveh. Chapter 2 vividly describes the coming destruction of Nineveh. Nahum paints a picture of a city under siege. We read about chariots racing through the streets, shields flashing in the sun, and soldiers rushing to their posts. This chapter is filled with imagery of chaos and defeat. Nahum proclaims that Nineveh, once a symbol of power and cruelty, will be plundered and its people will be humiliated. God's judgment on Nineveh isn't arbitrary, it's the result of their wickedness. The Assyrians were known for their brutality, and now they would reap what they had sown. Chapter 3. Woe to Nineveh. The final chapter declares woe upon Nineveh. Nahum exposes the city's sins, its lies, its violence, and its exploitation of other nations. God's judgment is portrayed as inevitable and complete. Nahum 3:19 declares, "There is no healing for your wound, your injury is fatal." The nations that had suffered under Assyria's oppression now rejoice at its downfall. What can we learn from this book? The Book of Nahum teaches us several important lessons. First, God's justice is certain. Even though evil may prosper for a time, God will not allow it to go unpunished. This is a source of hope for the oppressed. Second, God is sovereign over all nations. Assyria's fall reminds us that no empire or power can stand against God. Finally, Nahum calls us to trust in God's timing. His judgment may not be immediate, but it is always just and perfect. Conclusion. Though the Book of Nahum is focused on judgment, it ultimately reminds us of God's care for his people. He is a God of justice who acts on behalf of the oppressed. Nahum's prophecy of Nineveh's downfall serves as a powerful reminder that God is both a righteous judge and a faithful protector.